My
Share
mother
this
said you
table.
would know what to
A
do
disabled
next.
human boy asked
The
the
path
dragon
is unclear
warrior.
now,
What
but
happens
we will
next
find
is
the way together.
unbelievable. Aliens of all shapes and sizes moved between stalls, calling out their goods in strange, melodic languages. Shimmering fabrics floated in the air, and metallic fruits gleamed under the twin suns. The smells were intense, some sweet, some sour, some entirely unrecognizable. Eli's wheelchair rattled over the uneven stone paths as he moved forward, determined not to miss a single detail. Eli was small for his age, with tousled brown hair and bright, curious eyes. His left arm was slightly weak, and his legs did not move as most humans did, but his mind was sharp. He loved exploring, asking questions, and figuring out how things worked. Today, he had saved up enough galactic credits to buy something special, something he had never seen before. He stopped in front of a large table, where a towering figure was examining exotic foods. The being was massive, scales glinted in shades of emerald and gold, eyes like polished amber scanning each item carefully. Its claws were sharp, but it held the delicate foods with careful precision. Eli knew at once, this was no ordinary alien. This was a dragon warrior, creatures spoken about in legends across human space, strong, wise, and sometimes dangerous. Eli hesitated for a moment, unsure if he should approach. The dragon warrior didn't notice him, focused on tasting a strange, glowing fruit. Eli's curiosity won over his fear. He rolled forward and cleared his throat. "Excuse me," Eli said, his voice small but steady. "Share this table." The dragon warrior's head snapped toward him. Its eyes were enormous and intense, almost like molten gold. For a moment, Eli felt as if the dragon could see every thought in his mind. Around him, some aliens laughed quietly, pointing at the human boy. "He wants to sit with a dragon warrior. Ha!" one whispered in a high, chirping voice. Kale, the dragon warrior, studied Eli. He had seen many creatures in his long life, but humans were rare. They were considered weak, fragile, and often foolish. And yet there was something in the boy's eyes, curiosity, courage, something different from fear or greed. Kale leaned down slightly. His voice rumbled like distant thunder. "Why do you ask to sit with me, little human?" Eli swallowed, trying to steady himself. I want to learn. I like to see how things work. And I thought maybe we could share food. Maybe you could tell me about your world." Kale's tail twitched in surprise. Most humans never spoke with honesty or courage. They hid behind walls or begged for scraps. This one was different. He nodded slowly. "Very well, sit." Eli wheeled himself carefully, trying not to bump into the legs of the massive table. Around them, the marketplace continued its noisy dance. Aliens watched curiously, some still snickering. Eli ignored them. "So," Eli said, trying to make conversation, "this fruit, it glows. Why?" Kale tilted his head. "It absorbs sunlight differently from most plants. It nourishes my kind in ways you cannot understand." Eli's eyes lit up. "That's amazing. On Earth, we don't have anything like this. We only have the sun to eat for energy." He laughed nervously. "Well, not really to eat." Kale's deep rumbling sound could have been a laugh. "Your kind is strange. You survive in many ways yet are not strong, but your mind is curious." Eli grinned. "Curiosity keeps me alive and busy." The dragon warrior's gaze softened slightly. "Perhaps, sit here, human, learn what you can." They shared the table quietly at first. Kale tasted food slowly, deliberately, while Eli examined each item with wonder. A small alien vendor approached, bowing low. "Master Kale," she said, "do you need assistance?" Kale waved her off. "Not yet, we are occupied." The vendor's eyes fell on Eli. A human. Sitting with a dragon warrior. "Are you brave or foolish?" Eli smiled. "Maybe a bit of both." The dragon warrior made a deep rumble that sounded suspiciously like amusement. "He is clever," Kale said. "Do not underestimate him." Eli's curiosity was endless. "Kale, why do you eat like this? Slowly, carefully. Isn't it better to just take what you need and be done?" Kale's eyes narrowed, thoughtful. Because every meal is a lesson. Every flavor, texture, smell, it teaches patience, precision, and respect. Even a strong warrior must respect life, no matter how small. Eli nodded. That makes sense, I think. On Earth, my dad always told me to watch carefully before acting. He said every problem has a solution if you observe first. Kale's massive head tilted. Your people have wisdom then, but most do not listen. Maybe not, Eli said quietly, but I try. They were quiet for a moment, just sharing the strange foods and studying one another. Then a sudden commotion broke out. One of the stalls nearby, a small tower of floating orbs, tipped over. The orbs rolled wildly, bouncing off walls, knocking over smaller tables. Aliens screamed and scattered. Kale's eyes snapped open and his muscles tensed. He moved faster than Eli could imagine, sweeping up the nearest orbs with precise swipes of his clawed hands. "Stay back," Kale shouted. Eli's heart raced. He wanted to help, but how could he? His wheelchair was slow and he wasn't strong. Then he noticed something. The orbs had different colors and each color rolled differently. A green one slowed when it hit the wall. A red one bounced unpredictably. "Kale," Eli called out. "The red ones bounce more. If you hit the green first, it won't knock over the others." Kale froze, listening. Then he adjusted his stance using Eli's observation. One careful sweep, guided by the boy's instructions, and the orb stopped rolling. The crowd gasped. Aliens who had laughed at Eli earlier were now silent, staring in disbelief. Kale lowered himself to look at Eli. You have vision. You can see things I cannot. You are clever, little human." Eli blushed, feeling proud. I just noticed patterns." Kale's tail tapped the ground in thought. "Patterns, yes. Humans may lack strength, but your minds, they adapt. They solve problems differently. Perhaps this is your kind's true power." The vendor who had watched earlier approached again, her eyes wide. He helped. A human helped a dragon warrior." Eli nodded. "I guess I just tried to think." Kale gave a deep rumble that sounded almost like a laugh. "And you succeeded." For the first time, Eli felt not just brave but respected. Not by humans, not by his teachers, not by friends, but by a being larger, older, and wiser than anyone he had ever known. Then Kale spoke again, his voice calmer. "Tell me, little human, do you always face challenges the same way?" Eli thought carefully. "I try different ways. I watch, I think, I plan. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but I never give up." Kale's eyes glimmered. "Never give up. Humans may be small, but perhaps that is why you endure. You survive by thinking, by learning, by adapting. That is admirable." The marketplace slowly returned to normal. The floating orbs were gathered, the stalls rebuilt, and life went on. But something had changed. Aliens who had doubted humans now looked at Eli with curiosity, even respect. Eli felt a little tired. He had just met a legendary dragon warrior, helped avert chaos, and survived the chaos of the marketplace. He rolled back slightly and said, "Thank you, Kale, for letting me sit here, for letting me help." Kale's massive head inclined. "I allowed it because you asked with honesty and you acted with courage. Few would do that. Perhaps you are a beginning of something new." Eli didn't understand fully what Kale meant, but he felt proud. He realized that sometimes being small didn't matter. What mattered was what you could see, how you could think, and the courage to act when others did not. Just as he was about to speak again, a low rumble echoed across the marketplace. The ground vibrated slightly, and the glowing lights in the stalls flickered. Kale's eyes narrowed. "Something approaches, and it is not small. Stay close, human." Eli gripped the armrest of his wheelchair. His heart pounded. Whatever was coming, this was no ordinary challenge. And somehow he had a feeling that the next moment would change everything, not just for him, but for everyone around him. He looked up at Kale, who towered above him like a living mountain. "I'm ready," Eli said, surprising even himself. Kale's gaze softened. "Good. Then together we face it." And with that, the boy and the dragon warrior prepared for the unexpected. an event that would test courage, wits, and the bond between two very different worlds. The rumble grew louder, shaking the tables and sending small wares tumbling. The marketplace, once alive with chatter and laughter, had fallen silent. Aliens froze mid-step, their wide eyes reflecting fear and confusion. Some fled, some watched in frozen awe. Eli's heart raced, but he kept his focus. Kale leaned forward, massive wings unfurling slightly to balance himself. His eyes scanned the horizon, searching for the source. "It is large, much larger than any beast I have fought," he said in a low rumble. Eli squinted. Through the crowded stalls and shimmering sunlight he saw it, a massive shadow moving toward them, with multiple legs and a body that shimmered like liquid metal. It was unlike any creature he had ever seen. Its movements were quick, almost intelligent. "Is it going to attack?" Eli asked, gripping the armrests of his wheelchair. Kale's eyes narrowed. "Perhaps, or perhaps it merely seeks something." The crowd began to panic. Merchants tried to gather their goods, some aliens shouted warnings, and a few small creatures squeaked and scuttled into hiding. Eli, however, noticed something the others didn't. The creature's movements were deliberate, not random. It paused near the toppled orb, scanning, almost searching. "Kale," Eli shouted, "it's not attacking randomly. Look at how it moves. It's scanning the stalls, maybe it wants something specific." Kale's massive head tilted. "You observe well, human. Most would flee blindly." "What do you propose?" Eli thought quickly. "We can guide it away, not with strength but with patterns. If we place objects in its path, it might follow the path instead of crushing everything." Kale's eyes glimmered with interest. "You would manipulate it with obstacles. Clever. But can a human execute this quickly enough?" Eli smiled. "We'll do it together." Kale nodded. With a powerful sweep of his claws, he lifted fallen crates, placing them strategically along the creature's path. Eli guided him, shouting directions. "Move the green crates to the left. The red ones, keep them straight. Don't block the small alley." Aliens watched in disbelief. A human boy was directing a dragon warrior in real time, orchestrating a solution that no one else could have thought of. The creature moved cautiously, following the path Kale and Eli had improvised. It paused at each obstacle, recalculating, as if testing its own intelligence. With every careful placement, the human's plan worked. The metallic beast was now moving away from the crowded stalls and toward an open area outside the marketplace. Eli cheered. "It's working. Keep going, Kale." Kale rumbled in approval, adjusting the obstacles with precision. He even lifted Eli slightly in his massive claws to give him a better view, letting the boy direct the creature from above. After tense moments, the creature reached the outskirts and disappeared into a nearby canyon, leaving the marketplace unharmed. Merchants exhaled in relief, some bowing to Kale, others to Eli. Whispers spread. A human helped a dragon warrior. Eli felt a rush of pride. He had not only helped save the marketplace but had earned Kale's respect in the process. Kale gently lowered him back to his wheelchair. "You think quickly, human. You see patterns where others see chaos. That is impressive." Eli laughed, a little breathless. "I just notice things, that's all." Kale's eyes softened. "Perhaps your kind is more than I was taught to believe. Strength is not always in muscle or claws. Sometimes it is in mind, observation, and courage. You have all three." The marketplace slowly returned to normal. Merchants rebuilt their stalls, creatures scurried back to their homes, and sunlight returned to its steady shimmer. But something had changed. Aliens who had once doubted humans now looked at Eli with awe. Even the small vendor who had been skeptical earlier bowed deeply. "Human, you are remarkable." Eli blushed but smiled. "Thank you, I just like to help." Kale rumbled thoughtfully. "Your kind's courage is unusual. Most humans I have seen hide or flee. You act, you adapt. That is the essence of survival." As the chaos settled, Kale spoke again. "I would like you to see my hall, human. No human has been invited before. Perhaps you could teach my kind something as well." Eli's eyes widened. Your hall, really? Kale nodded. Come, there is much to learn and perhaps much to share. The journey to Kale's hall was unlike anything Eli had imagined. They traveled through alien cities with towers that touched the clouds, bridges of light, and rivers that shimmered with color-changing water. Kale moved gracefully, despite his size, careful not to crush any of the delicate structures. Eli followed in his wheelchair, marveling at every detail, asking endless questions, all of which Kale answered patiently. Finally, they reached the hall, a massive structure carved into a mountain of glittering crystal. The doors were enormous, inscribed with symbols that seemed to glow faintly. Kale opened them with a sweep of his claw, and Eli was struck speechless. Inside, the hall was vast and filled with knowledge, books, devices, strange artifacts, and murals depicting the dragon warrior's history. Welcome, Kale said. Few outsiders have seen this place. Few are still humans. Eli looked around in awe. It's incredible. All this knowledge, Kale nodded. Knowledge is power, and the dragon warriors respect those who seek it wisely. Eli rolled closer to a table filled with strange devices. What are these? They are tools for observation, communication, and understanding the universe, Kale explained. Perhaps you could help improve some of them. Humans have minds that see possibilities differently. That is why I brought you here. Eli's heart raced. You really want my help? Kale's eyes glimmered. Yes, your perspective may solve problems my kind has faced for centuries. Are you willing? Eli thought for a moment. This was a chance few humans ever had, to work with one of the galaxy's most respected beings and make a difference. Yes. I will do my best. Kale's tail tapped the crystal floor in approval. Then begin, look at this device. He pointed to a small, floating holographic sphere. It records and predicts weather patterns across our planet, but it is limited. Perhaps a human mind can improve it. Eli studied the sphere carefully. He noticed patterns in the fluctuations of its light and the way it adjusted to changes in temperature. After a few minutes, he spoke. If you change the input order and combine the sensor readings differently, it might predict storms more accurately, and maybe even detect small changes before they become big ones. Kale's eyes widened. That is insightful, a method I would not have considered. Show me. Working together, Kale followed Eli's instructions. Slowly, the sphere began to change, glowing brighter, more stable, and more responsive. Other dragon warriors who had entered quietly to observe murmured in amazement. Humans, you said they were weak, one whispered. Look at what he does. Eli smiled a little shy. I just look carefully and think. Kale rumbled deeply. This is why humans endure. Strength is not always muscle or claws. It is observation, adaptability, and courage. You have all three, little human. Hours passed, and Eli's ideas transformed other devices in the hall. Communication systems became faster, observation tools more accurate, and even some defensive systems, designed to protect the hall, became more efficient without causing harm to anyone. The dragon warriors watched in awe, realizing that humans were underestimated for centuries. Finally, Kale turned to Eli. You have done more than I imagined. Your kind has a perspective unlike any other. Perhaps humans are not weak. Perhaps they are necessary. Eli felt proud but also humbled. He had never thought of himself as important in such a large world. I just wanted to help. Kale's eyes glimmered. And yet, in helping, you have shown strength no claw or scale could match. Just as Eli felt a sense of peace, the hall trembled. Outside, a loud roar echoed across the city. Kale's head snapped toward the entrance. The metallic beast returns, and it is not alone. Eli gripped the armrest of his wheelchair tightly. It's coming back, Kale nodded. Yes, and this time we must face it fully. You have shown courage, little human. Now you must use it again. Eli's heart pounded. He looked at Kale and saw not just strength but trust. The dragon warrior had chosen him to face the unknown together. And Eli realized this was more than a challenge. It was a chance to prove that humans, even small and different ones, could change the course of events across the galaxy. He straightened in his wheelchair. "I'm ready." Kale inclined his massive head. "Good. Then together we will face what comes and show the galaxy the power of human ingenuity." The ground shook again, louder this time. The metallic beasts from the marketplace had returned, but now there were more of them. They moved with precision, their multiple legs clicking against the crystal streets, and their bodies glinted in the sunlight like polished steel. The citizens of the alien city panicked, running to find shelter. Kale's massive form blocked Eli's view for a moment, then he lowered himself so that the boy could see. "Observe carefully, human. They move together like a single mind, but even a mind can be outsmarted." Eli's mind raced. He had seen patterns before, and he knew that brute force would not defeat these creatures. "Kale," he said, "they're not attacking randomly. They seem to protect something. Maybe they're searching for a source of energy or a signal. If we can identify it, we can guide them away without hurting anyone." Kale's eyes gleamed. "Good. Your mind is sharp. Let us find the solution together." The dragon warrior and the boy moved quickly through the hall, scanning the city with both their eyes and the tools Eli had helped improve. Eli noticed faint energy readings from the beasts' bodies. "They're drawn to high-energy areas," he said. "The marketplace before, that was just a small target. But now they've found the hall's energy signature. That's why they've come here." Kale nodded. "Then we must create a new path away from the city. Use your ideas, little human. I will follow your guidance." Eli looked around. He saw floating platforms, abandoned carts, and scattered crates. If positioned correctly, they could create a trail the creatures would follow. He instructed Kale and a few other dragon warriors who had gathered. "We need to make a continuous path from here to the canyon outside the city. Place the platforms so the creatures' sensors are attracted forward, not sideways. Keep the smaller aliens safe in the alleys. And make sure the energy readings increase gradually so they keep moving in the right direction." Kale's massive claws moved with precision, lifting crates and platforms exactly where Eli directed. The boy's sharp eyes and Kale's strength worked in perfect sync. Together, they turned the city into a controlled path for the creatures. As they worked, Eli's confidence grew. He realized that being small or disabled did not limit his ability to make a difference. His brain, his observations, and his courage were just as powerful as Kale's claws and strength. The first creature approached the path. It paused, scanning the platforms, then stepped onto the first one. It continued along the path, following the energy signals Eli had arranged. One by one, the other metallic beasts followed, moving in formation, obedient to the trail they had been guided onto. Eli breathed a sigh of relief. "It's working, Kale, it's really working." Kale rumbled in approval. "You are truly remarkable, human. Never have I seen a being so small take command of such a challenge." The creatures reached the canyon outside the city. Eli watched as they disappeared into the shadows, safely guided away from the citizens, the buildings, and the marketplace. The city erupted in cheers. Aliens who had doubted humans now stared at Eli with wonder. Some even bowed in respect. Kale lowered himself to look at Eli. "You have shown the power of human ingenuity. You have saved lives without striking a single blow. That is strength I admire." Eli smiled, a little shy but proud. "I just thought carefully, that's all." Kale's eyes softened. "No, little human, thinking carefully is a gift. Courage without thinking is reckless. You have shown both. That is why humans endure and inspire." Eli felt a warm glow inside. He had come to the city hoping to explore, to see new things, but he had done much more than that. He had earned respect, saved a city, and shown that humans could be clever, brave, and effective, even when others underestimated them. The citizens slowly returned to the streets. Merchants rebuilt stalls, creatures peeked from hiding spots, and the city buzzed with life once more. Eli and Kale stood in the center, observing the scene. "Kale," Eli said, "why did you bring me here? Why trust a human like me?" Kale's massive head tilted. "I have lived for centuries, seeing many races and many strengths. Your kind was always considered weak, but I saw something different in you: courage, intelligence, and adaptability. These qualities in a small being like you can change outcomes that strength alone cannot." Eli's eyes widened. "You really think humans are special?" Kale nodded. "Yes, strength is not always in muscle or fire. Sometimes it is in mind, heart, and determination. You have all of these, little human. Never doubt yourself." Eli smiled, feeling a sense of purpose he had never known before. I won't." The dragon warrior lowered himself to a sitting position beside Eli's wheelchair. "Come, little human, let us celebrate. Share this table as you asked before. Today you have earned your place among my kind." Eli rolled closer, excitement and pride bubbling inside him. Kale carefully placed fruits, crystals, and strange delicacies on the table. Eli examined each one, fascinated. He tasted some, laughed at others, and shared stories of Earth with Kale. Other dragon warriors approached, curious and respectful. "The human saved the city," one whispered. "He guided the creatures with his mind." Kale nodded. "Observe and learn. Humans may be small, but their minds are powerful. Do not underestimate them." Eli felt a warmth he had never felt before. He realized that being different, being small, or having a disability did not mean weakness. It meant he had to find new ways to solve problems. It meant that courage, intelligence, and heart could overcome challenges no one else could. As the sun set, painting the city in golden light, Eli looked at Kale. "Thank you for trusting me, for letting me help, for sharing your world." Kale's eyes glimmered. "You have taught me as well, little human. Your courage and mind remind us all that greatness is not always in size or strength. Today, humans have shown their value to the galaxy." Eli smiled, feeling proud and hopeful. He knew that this was only the beginning. There would be more challenges, more strange creatures, and more adventures. But now he had Kale by his side, and he had shown that humans, even small and underestimated, could achieve the extraordinary. The night fell gently on the city. Stars glimmered in the sky, reflected in the crystal towers. Eli and Kale remained at the table, sharing food, stories, and laughter. Around them, the city hummed with life, alive with creatures who now looked at humans differently. Eli rolled his wheelchair closer to Kale, a question forming in his mind. "Do you think humans and dragon warriors could work together more often?" Kale's deep rumble echoed like distant thunder. "I believe they should. Today has shown that together we are stronger. And perhaps, little human, the galaxy will learn that strength comes in many forms, not only claws and fire, but also mind, courage, and heart." Eli smiled, looking up at the stars. He felt proud of his actions, proud of what he had accomplished, and excited for the future. The journey had been unexpected, challenging, and unbelievable, but he had proven that humans were remarkable, even in a world that had once doubted them. And so, at a shared table in a distant alien city, a disabled human boy and a dragon warrior laughed, ate, and planned. They had faced danger, solved impossible problems, and changed the perception of an entire species. And in that moment, Eli knew something important. Being human was not about size, strength, or appearances. It was about courage, creativity, and never giving up. The stars above shimmered, the city thrived, and the story of a small human boy and a mighty dragon warrior spread quietly across the galaxy. Aliens whispered tales of the boy who saved the city with his mind, who guided dragons, and who showed that humanity's true strength lay in ingenuity, heart, and determination. Eli smiled, feeling a sense of belonging and pride. For the first time in his life, he knew he had found a place where humans were respected, admired, and celebrated for what they truly were: clever, brave and extraordinary. The adventure had ended, but the legend had only just begun.